Mr. President, do you at all regret, in hindsight this is now, signing off that this elite squad that was called the Scorpions should actually be incorporated into SAPS, and they shouldn't be a standalone body that's under the NPA?
The ANC at its conference had already resolved that that unit should be brought under the police, because it was a unit which combined the duties of prosecutors and investigators and bundled them into one. Part of their weakness was that their communications made all manner of claims about their successes and so on. And because they were effecting arrests with the TV cameras.
I remember they described it as Hollywood style.
And so on. And that was a hype, you see. But when you drill down to the brass facts, there are cases, for instance, let me give you one example. In KwaZulu-Natal, when they actually announced that Dr. Zweli Mkhize, then, and a gentleman called Powell from the IFP were going to be arrested for gun running and all of that. And they were never arrested.
The argument from some is that because of the Polokwane conference, of course, the resolution that was taken and the subsequent action that you then carried out, that it led to the weakening of these investigative institutions like SAPS and like the NPA as well, because at some point the Scorpions had a success rate when it comes to convictions. But under the new unit, which was called the Hawks, that's something that they've always celebrated and said that we are the elite unit that has had a successful rate when it comes to convictions. Yeah.
The facts were different, actually. Yeah, that's what they were communicating. Their communication strategy was perfect, I must say. But the actual work wasn't being done.
Was the resolution the right resolution?
I think the resolution was the right resolution.
Vusipikoli. This has been an ongoing debate as well. Was the decision in hindsight as well? Do you think it was the right decision, considering the political climate at the time as well?
I think it was the right decision, and time has actually confirmed that it was the right decision. And I'll tell you why. You see, the NPA Act is a cut and paste act. And I want to explain this in simple terms. The recruitment and selection procedures are political. The only guidance is that the applicant must be an advocate by qualification admitted at the bar. Okay? That's the only requirement. The rest is political. But the dismissal procedure is exactly word for word, comma for comma, that which applies to a sitting judge. It is only Vusipikoli's case that followed the set procedure to the letter. A committee inquired into whether he was fit for office or not, produced the report with recommendations, and the president goes through that report and makes a recommendation to Parliament. So you have to submit the report and the representations by the incumbent, and give reasons to Parliament as to why you're making a recommendation.
But the argument was Ginwala didn't come to that conclusion, that he should be removed.
Yes, because, and unfortunately it's people who have not read the report itself. Ginwala said he had no clue of the responsibilities of his office in the report. But in the last sentence says he's fit for office. Now, remember, this report is not a directive, it's not an instruction. It is meant to help the head of state make a decision. And the head of state has no authority to dismiss an NDPP. No, it's Parliament which does that.
Yeah.
So you have to submit to Parliament everything, including your recommendations. And Parliament then takes the decision. Now, in the case of Pikoli, he then, once Parliament has taken the decision, he then appealed.
Yes.
He went to court and appealed. And the matter was never heard at the level of the court, because later when I inquired, because I had already left office, when I inquired, where is this case? I was informed that he was offered 7 million and he took the money and left and withdrew the case from the court.
So the 7 million wasn't from you?
No. No. The matter was to go to court.
So it moved over into the next president?
Into the next president. And a court of law has made a determination that if a public, an NDPP, is put under pressure by any head of state, his fitness for office means he must resist that. So the Pikoli matter is actually an example of how the elaborate procedure for how to dismiss an NDPP was followed to the letter.
One of the questions again on Twitter is, will the ANC ever be able to stop what now seems to be a precedent that has been set with former President Thabo Mbeki and recurring now with former President Jacob Zuma? Some even saying that even the incumbent Cyril Ramaphosa might find himself in the same spot, considering these murmurs about the political battles that are currently taking place within the party.
Well, let me tell you where the weakness is. You see, our electoral system is proportional representation system. So political parties contest elections. The constitutions of these political parties are not aligned to the constitution of the republic. And so when you take oath of office as an MP, for instance, that should be binding on you for as long as you act within the confines of the responsibilities of a member of parliament. But from time to time, it gets trumped up by directives from the party, which flow in opposite direction from what the oath you took when you were sworn in.
One of the issues that the foundation, through the Drakensberg report, looks into is this phenomenon of state capture. What's your personal take on it when you watch the Zondo Commission and you hear all these revelations, maybe allegations, but you hear all of these things? What goes through your mind?
Well, the corruption starts with not with the state, it starts with the party. First, before you capture the state, you have to capture the party. Because once you've captured the party, then the appointments in all strategic positions and so on are political.
Was the ANC captured?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you going to ever testify to that effect?
No.
Why not?
Well, mine is a general political. They'll come to those conclusions at the end when they do their summation on the basis of concrete evidence adduced to them.
Does it sadden you, though?
Of course, yes.
Considering the conversation that we had right at the beginning about democracy and the strength of democracy and how important it is for the voice of the people to be heard. And you fast forward to 2019 and you have all of these revelations. And of course, a lot of people have put faith in this governing party. And if you look at the polls, people are saying that most of the electorate will again put faith in the ANC. But yet you have these revelations of alleged corruption.
Well, you know, if we take a positive look at it, this is an excellent opportunity for the weaknesses to be laid bare in the system, in the institutions. And so if we draw the right lessons, we can then implement remedial measures that would make us a far much more stronger democracy going forward. I think, you know, it was bound to happen at some point or the other. The fact that it's happened so early in our democracy is a blessing in itself, because, you know, when you have institutions and systems which are inspired and informed by the fact that perhaps you will always have a Nelson Mandela as head of state, it's a weakness. In fact, systems must be designed with rogue presidents in mind. That, you know, if we have the West rogue president, how to ensure that, you know, the system still is able to function optimally without being undermined.